So let's get started. So today we see the designing identity, governance, and monitoring solution in Azure for our
Okay.
AZ-305. Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
So let me share my screen.
Do you need me? Do you need me? Okay. If you need British, yeah. I'm doing training. Okay.
So is my screen visible? Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. So
So
designing. Okay.
so my screen is visible or not?
Yeah, you're visible. Yeah, I can see
Okay.
the screen.
Okay. So in today's session, the session two, we will look the designing identity, governance, and monitoring solution in Azure. Okay.
Yeah.
So by the end of this sessions, we will able to learn about the design Microsoft Entra ID solution, design
Okay.
identity integration architecture, design the RBAC, which is role-based access control strategy, and also the
Okay.
design subscriptions and management group hierarchies, and look for the governance solutions using the Azure policy and also the resource organization strategy. And then after we look for design monitoring and logging architecture. Okay. So before we move, let's quickly recap what we learned in session one in our last
Yeah.
call. So tell me, what is the biggest difference between an Azure administrator and an Azure solution architect?
Okay. A the database. Sorry. Can you repeat the question?
So my question is, what is the biggest difference between an Azure administrator and an Azure solution architect?
Okay. An Azure administrator deals with. Hmm, okay, well, say the solution architects one. They deal with um the main requirements, how many users, the security requirements.
Uh-huh,
So they think technology comes later for them.
uh-huh,
Then the administrator, the budget side of things.
uh-huh,
How do they know what's
uh-huh.
going on and all of that? I hope I'm not mixing it up.
Yeah, exactly. So if we make it simple, so it is like administrator deploy and manage, and your
Yeah.
architect will design. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So my next ask is, what should always come before technology selection?
For technology solution, there should be the business requirement.
Perfect, perfect, perfect.
Yeah, the business requirement should come
Exactly.
first, then the architecture design,
Mm-hmm,
then we have the technical solution,
mm-hmm.
then we have the implementation.
Perfect, perfect. So can you name the five pillars of the Azure Well Architecture framework?
Reliability,
Okay.
what happens, can system can the system fail? Security,
Mm-hmm,
when we because of unauthorized users,
mm-hmm,
then operational efficiency, sorry,
mm-hmm,
excellency,
mm-hmm.
then performance efficiency, then cost opportunity.
It's cost optimization, not opportunity. Okay.
Oh, optimization. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Optimization.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So
Thank you.
answer will be reliability, security, cost optimizations, operation excellence, and performance efficiency. Okay.
Efficiency. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So today we begin our first architecture design domain. Okay.
Okay.
So why identity is the first architecture decision? Okay. So one of the biggest mistake a new architect make starting with the infrastructure. Okay, they start discussing the virtual machine like storage, uh, networking, but Microsoft recommend starting with identity. Okay, so
Okay.
identity has, yeah, so identity has three-step process. So first one, it goes to identity, then it's goes to access, then you reach to the resources. Okay, so I uh, hmm,
So the biggest mistake they make is starting with infrastructure, yeah?
yeah. So
Why? So is it
okay,
to
okay,
understand
hmm,
what the governance is,
yes,
or to understand what the policy is managing
hmm. So
that
you
zone is?
exactly. So this is the normally architecture do like one of the biggest mistake. New architecture
Mm,
always makes starting with the infrastructures, but if
mm,
you start discussing the virtual machine or network before authentication, your architecture is flawed or failed.
mm,
Okay,
mm.
so that Microsoft recommend starting with the identity, and identity has three steps like identity, access,
Access?
and resource.
Mm,
Okay, so if identity is compromised, every security control behind it become useless. Okay,
mm,
okay, like identity, like if suppose like if any attacker with a stolen administration account has legitimate
mm,
access, he can or she can bypass perfect firewalls, okay, and reach to your system. So identity is a new security parameter. Okay, if you take the real world example, suppose a company has a firewall. Okay, company has a firewall with perfect networking, with perfect infrastructures, but an attacker is still an administrator account. Okay, so in that case, what happened? Okay, can you tell me what happened? Like if a attacker steal administrator account, what happened in that case? Like if you have any idea?
Okay, if an attacker,
Hmm.
can you repeat the question? I didn't know I was taking notes. So can you
Okay,
repeat it?
okay. Suppose a company has a perfect firewall. Okay,
Mm,
having a perfect network, having a perfect infrastructure, but
mm.
an attacker is still an administrator account. So in that case, what happened?
Well, the attacker already has an access, and yeah, they hack into the company. If I understand your question.
Hmm.
So real world scenario, someone um
Simple.
someone
It is very simple. So in that case, the attacker now has legitimate access.
exactly, that's what
Exactly,
I said,
and
yeah.
he can like enter your system.
Yes,
He can access
absolutely,
your
absolutely.
infrastructures. Okay, so
Exactly, yeah.
this is why the modern attack start with the identity. Okay,
Mm,
so
okay.
let's start designing the Microsoft Entra ID solution. Okay,
Okay, okay.
so as per architect, we must design identity solution before designing the workload. Okay, if you see here what it is, the Microsoft Entra ID is the identity platform used across the Azure. As architect, we must design identity solutions and secure the access pathway before designing any workload. Okay,
Mm.
so there are the component of the intra ID. Let me write here in chat or okay, let me write my chat so you have access. So there is a component. Okay, and what is a component? So components of intra ID. Okay, so first is your user. Okay,
Mm.
then groups. Okay, then application. Okay, then service principal. Okay, then managed identities. Okay, so these are your component of intraid. Okay,
Mm.
now we can go one by one. So for user represent the people. Okay, user
Mm.
always represent the people. If you see here, we have user, group,
Mm.
service. So user always represent peoples. Okay, like interacting the cloud environment, and this include the internal employees or any external contractor, partner, customer, client, anyone
Mm.
which is using your applications, which is using your services, he and she can be user. Okay, so user can be your employee, user can be your contractor, user can be your partner, user can be your customer or client. Okay, now we move to groups. So groups simplify the permissions management. Okay, like instead of assigning the permission individually, assign them to group.
Okay.
Okay, it's simple. Like suppose you are working in a company, okay, in a team, and the other teammate, okay, are also doing the same thing with the same designation. So
Mm.
their system, their workstations, their access are applied by the groups. Because if we go and apply and give the access per person every time, so it will take your time. Okay, so
Okay.
in that case we can create a group and we put those users into the group, and we apply the access or anything to that particular group. So the users which are in that group have the changes. Okay,
Mm.
so these are the uh, uh, so this is the groups. And what will be the applications? So application require identity too. Okay,
Mm.
and application authenticate to the Azure services. Okay,
Okay.
and what about the service principal? So every application registered in intra ID get the service principals.
Mm.
Okay, which representing the application unique identity for the authentications. Okay, and what will your like manage identities? Okay, so manage identities eliminate the password management. Okay, and this is the one of the most important tech recommendations. Okay, so if I ask you which is more secure, application password or manage identity, what will you answer?
Administration password or what?
Which is more secure, application password or managed identity?
Oh, Manage identity.
Exactly, you are correct. So managed identity is always a secure than anything.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if we talk about, let's talk about like architecture scenario. Take example, a company has a 500 applications. Okay.
Okay.
So do you want to manage 500 applications password? Yes or no? Just tell me yes or no.
You don't want to manage what?
Suppose a company has 500 applications.
Yeah.
So do you have to manage 500 applications password?
Uh-huh.
Think logically.
No. Hmm. You have to manage it.
Yeah. So in that case, no. Like we can't manage the 500 applications. Okay. We use manage identity in that case.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Okay.
and what is the like RBAC architecture? Okay. So, so if you see here, okay,
Hmm.
if a architect recommend the managed identity because they provide an automatically managed identity in Entra ID, and with it completely eliminating the need of developer to handle the credential.
Hmm.
Okay,
The credential
like
field. Yeah.
if you are working, if you are a developer, if you're engineers, and I gave
Hmm.
you like 500 password, and every time you have to logged in password change, so you like you just
Hmm.
you get uh, stuck on that. So in that
Yeah.
case, we'll use manage entity. Okay,
Hmm.
so it like eliminate the manual process. Okay, to
Hmm.
store the credential, to handle the credentials. Okay, now
Absolutely, I agree.
yeah, now we move to like RBAC architecture. So if you see, there are like okay, now that suppose now that identity exists. Okay, so we need authorizations. Yes, because authorizations answer different questions. Okay,
Okay.
first authentication. Okay,
Mm.
what is authentications? Who you are is
Yeah.
authentications. And what is authorizations? There's a difference between authentication and authorizations. Authentication is who you are, and authorization
Mm.
is what you can do.
Permission. Yeah.
Okay, so what
Yeah.
will be your RBAC component? So it's a service principal. If you see here, it is a service principal. Then it is a role definition. Then
Okay.
it
Of what?
is the scope.
Scope.
Okay,
Where?
so
Yeah.
in service principal there are five component: user, group, or manage application and manage identity. Because service principal is linked to who. Okay, and this defines the identity requesting access to the Azure's resource, and it can be a user, it can be a group, it can be applications or a managed identity. And if we look the role definitions, okay, so role definitions means what? Okay,
Mm.
so a collection of the specific permissions like reader, contributor, owner, and
Yeah.
okay, and it dedicates the exactly what actions the service can perform. In
Mm.
reader,
Okay.
so in reader profiles, you only give to permission to just
Mm.
read the things. Okay,
Mm.
and in contributor, you just give the access to read plus contribute. Like you can edit it, you can contribute to it. Okay, but can't change anything, but can't delete anything. And owner will be owner, like he can change, he can delete, he can edit, he can revoke access, he can do everything. Okay,
Yeah.
so these are fall in the role definition. Okay, and now what is scope? So scope define very simple things. The simple word where. Like
Mm.
service principles define who, role definitions define what, and the scope define where. Okay.
Mm.
So the boundary, like the boundary of the access. Okay. So there will be always a rule, I take rule. Always assign permission at the lowest possible scope, like resource group, subscriptions, or management group. Okay.
Management, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So the boundary of the access.
Exactly.
So yeah, okay.
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 So
So when you say boundary, does it mean the level at which permission is given?
exactly.
Okay.
We have to set the boundaries. Like we have to
Yeah.
set the boundaries. Like always assign the permission at the lowest possible scope. Like if you
Yeah.
okay, suppose you are in my team and I have to uh, given you task just to research on this. Okay, so why do I give you the permission of contributor or owner? By let's suppose by mistake you it will be deleted by you. So in that case there will be loss. Okay, so I will give you only reader access. So you have to just look into it, go through it, and uh, understand it and do whatever
Yeah.
under the reader access. So in that case,
Yeah.
we always assign the permission to the lowest possible scope.
Mm-hmm. Scope. Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a architecture scenario. Okay, uh, suppose a developer team should manage only the development resources. Okay, so where should RBAC will be assigned? So answer will be a development resource group. Okay, not subscriptions, not management group. Okay,
Mm.
let me write here for you. This is very important. Where should RBAC be assigned? Okay, option will be always resource group,
Mm-hmm.
because developer team should manage only the development resource. Okay, so here's the exam tip for you. If two answer works, choose the lowest score. Okay, like sometime you like
Okay.
you are like giving exam, you are writing your exam, so you have a confusion between the two answer. Like this will be
Mm.
also your answer, this will also. So always choose lowest score between these two. Okay, now let's move to the okay, let's move to the design subscriptions and management group architecture. Okay, so if you see, it has a large enterprise do not organize Azure randomly. They utilize strict architecture structures. Okay. And there will be hierarchy, always hierarchy, like tenant, like management groups, subscriptions, resource group, and resource. Okay. And the management group exists to apply governance centrally across the multiple subscriptions. And your architecture always apply the policy, RBAC, and compliance standard at the management group level to ensure the automatic inherence downstream. Okay, so basically this topic is frequently in the AZ-305. Okay,
Okay.
it is like very most or repetitive or frequently topic in 305. So let me ask you a question. How do a large enterprise organize Azure? Obviously, it will be not randomly. Okay.
Yeah, they'll be strict.
Okay. How it will organize? So it will be using the management group.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So there will be, so what will be your architecture? So architecture will be your tenant, then management group, then management subscriptions, then the source group, then the source. Okay, which is here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this will be your, this will be your hierarchy, or you can say that this will be your architecture. Okay,
Mm.
this will be your architecture. Okay, so let's take example. Okay. Mm, your company, okay, let's say your company name is anything like XYZ Global. Okay, and it has business unit like finance, HR, manufacturing, IT. Okay, so what will be the architecture in that case? Can you like tell me? Any idea?
So come again.
So suppose a company is a XYZ company. Okay, the company name is XYZ Global Company. Okay, and it has a some business unit. Okay, let me write it. So suppose a company name is XYZ Global. Okay, and it has some business units like finance. Okay, then HR, the core business unit, manufacturing, and IT department. Okay, so what will be its, so what will be its architecture look like? Can you guess?
Okay, I can't even see the. I can't see the chat. Okay, okay. Will it contain X, Y, Z global? Okay. Let me see.
Guess and tell me.
Yeah. So it will be some business units like. So what will be the architecture look like? So. mm, So it will be. So we are talking about the hierarchy here, yeah.
Mhm.
So
Okay,
there will
so
be.
okay, let me
Oh,
give you answer.
I want to see if I can
Okay,
if I
okay,
can
okay,
solve it.
okay. Just write here
Okay.
in chat. Just write in chat.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah,
What
just
will
write
be
in chat.
it look like? Let me see. Okay. Take my okay. 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 Oh, I can't.
Okay, no issue. So it will be tenant, then
What will it be?
obviously finance.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Then it will be
Manufacturing.
HR.
Okay.
Okay. Then manufacturing. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Then it will be your IT
See?
department. Okay.
Okay.
After that, subscription.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
After
Okay.
that, subscription. Then your the core, the core one resource. Okay. So this is the correct answer.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So
So this is like
yeah.
this the hierarchy, yeah. So the tenant is the finance,
Mm-hmm.
then the management um group is HR,
Mm-hmm.
subscription is manufacturing,
Exactly.
then resource group is IT.
Exactly.
Okay. 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 What about resources?
So resources, like what is resources? Like, can you tell me what is resources? What do you mean by resources?
Okay, resources means it could be anything you need to utilize element yeah, what you need to utilize, maybe a project could be human resources, money, finances, and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Humans, so that's what resources mean. Anything you need to yeah, to execute a project.
Okay. So let me simplify this. So in Azure or any cloud like AWS, GCP, etc. This basically resource means any services or component that you create or use in the cloud.
Okay.
Okay. So that is a
Okay.
resources.
Resources. Okay.
So like if I break this down in like very simple terms, okay, which is very important for your in future, like you will go with the interview or anything, so it will like very important for this perspective. So think a cloud like a big data center, okay,
Okay.
offer over the internet. So anything you create, anything you use inside it, that is the resource.
Resources. Okay.
Okay, let me write here. Anything you create or use, okay, inside the cloud, no matter what it is, AWS, Azure, or anything, it will be your resource. Okay.
Mm. Yep.
So, and if I talk about the specifically Azure perspectives, so Azure is any manageable item in Azure. A resource is any manageable item in Azure like VM, database,
Okay.
storage, or network. Okay.
Okay.
So these are your resources. Okay. So let's suppose like your VM. What is VM? It's run your app. It is a resource. Storage account. What is that? It is store your files. That is a resource. Database, which also store the data, which is that is a resource. Virtual network. What is that? It's connect everything. That is a resource. So each of these separate resource, but together they form a solution. Okay. Always remember. So okay. So why we use management group? So because we apply governance centrally, okay, like we have to apply policies, we have to apply RBAC, we have to apply compliance, we have to apply the security standard. Okay, so would you design a Azure policy 500 times? Like it's possible or not?
And you what?
Hmm?
What did you say?
Would you assign Azure policy 500 times?
Oh, 500 times.
Hmm.
No.
Okay. Why? Because
Oh.
we have to apply it at management level.
Mm,
Okay.
exactly.
Exactly.
Management identity. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So because governance is one of the most important responsibility for an architect. Okay. So what happened when when 500 engineers deploy resource with this standard? That's make chaos. Okay. So we need the Azure policy to prevent that chaos or the rush or the uh, uh, what can I say, like hanging the systems. Okay, so always Azure policy, always use Azure policy. And so what is the use cases of it? So you always use required tags. You always use required encryptions, which blocks the public IP, allow the reasons, and also allow the VM sizes. Yeah. So see, so governance with Azure policy, you have a required tagging, which I told you, like required tagging, allow reasons, or enforce security. So what is in required tagging? So it's enforce the organization standard by rejecting the resource, creating it specific tags like cost center, environment, okay, are missing and ensuring the correct billing. And what's come under the allowed reason? So it ensure the data redundancy compliance by strictly restricting the geographical region where the engineers or
Yeah.
developer are allowed to deploy the specific resource. Okay,
Mm,
you can't use, your company is has a standard constitutions in UK, and you can't deploy it in China. Okay, you
mm,
can deploy in China, but it will give you latency. It will be uh, restrict the seamless connectivity or seamless using to connect the users. Okay, so you have always use the geographical region based on your locations. Okay, and what's come under the enforced security? So good architecture does automations over the people. Use policy
mm,
to mandate the encryptions on all storage accounts and automatically block the creation of the public IP. Okay, so let's take the real scenario. So there is a company which has requirement like all storage account must use encryptions. Okay, so how do we enforce it? We use Azure policy in that case. Okay, and if the company requirement is resource only allowed in East US or West Europe, then also the answer will be Azure policy. And what's our tech mindset says? So it says good architect don't trust people, they trust automation and use Azure policy.
mm,
Okay,
mm.
now we have to move designing, monitoring, and architecture. Okay, so let me write here first. So every architect need a observability, and what's come under the observability? So it will be your matrices. Okay, it will be your logs, it will be your alerts. Okay, and what? Have you any idea? Like what's come under the observability? First one is matrices, second one is log, and then alerts. Okay, so fourth one will be your dashboard.
Dashboard. Okay.
Okay, dashboard for your VM. Okay, or anything, any resource. So if you see here, these four channel, like it's first come
These
Azure.
are those the, can you bring the chat again? Are those the resources? The Azure resources, or can you bring the chat up?
Yeah, you can also access the chat uh, at your side
Okay.
also.
Okay.
That's not issue.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
so these are the four ways of architecture, monitor architecture of the Azure resources. The first one will Azure resources like application like VM, PaaS, service, generate like raw telemetry, matrices or activity log. Then we look into like Azure monitoring. Okay.
So the Azure resources are the metrics, logs, alerts, and
Mm-hmm.
dashboard.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So,
Okay.
and second one is like Azure monitoring. Okay.
Yeah.
And the third one will be your Azure
Analytics.
lag. Okay. In Azure lag, a centralized workspace used to query, correlate, and store the massive amount of log and data security. Okay. So let me explain the whole things. Okay. In a very simple way. So
Yeah. Okay.
what is monitoring? So monitoring, what is monitoring architecture? So monitoring architecture is a setup that tell you what happening in your system. Like, is my app is working? Is service down? And why it's slow? Okay. So let's take a real life analogy. Okay. Think of it like a hospital monitoring system. Okay.
Mm.
The heart rate monitor tells you health. Alarm alerts doctor. Dashboard show the full patient status. So same in cloud, same in Azure. Data is collected. Dashboard show the status and alert notify the issues. Okay. So what will the simple, if I tell you this, what will be the simple architecture flow? Can you write here in chat like what will the simple architecture flow?
Okay.
What
So the
what will be
question
the
is,
what will be the first? Tell me.
um the simple architecture flow for, it will be the metrics.
No, it will be your source.
The source. Okay.
It
Okay.
can be
Okay.
source. What will
Okay.
be second?
Okay. I think I'm mixing it up. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Second will be collect the data.
Collect. Okay. Okay.
What will be third?
Okay. Um,
It will be store or analyze.
you know when you put the Azure Monitor,
Mhm.
is overlapping. The text is overlapping.
Sorry.
Number two, Azure Monitor. The
Yeah,
text is
yeah.
overlapping.
Okay, okay, no issue. I will explain you. No issue.
Yeah, so I can't see what's there.
Okay, no issue. Look here. Look in my chat.
Okay.
Okay. And the fourth will be your alert
Okay.
alert, and visualize. See, so simple architecture will be your the first will be your source, second will be your collect, third will be your resource analyze, and fourth will be your alert and visualize. Okay,
Mm,
so these are the simple architecture. Okay,
okay.
so if I talk about like Azure examples, so collect will be your Azure Monitor agent, store will be your log analytics and matrices, analysis is your
Okay.
query and dashboard, and alerts will be your alert room. Okay,
Okay.
if
Okay.
I explain
Okay.
once again, so okay, now, so this becomes the foundation of operation visibility. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, so let's take a question like all, suppose a company has requirement monitor all the resource centrally, so what will be answer? So answer will be your Azure Monitor plus log analytics workspace. Okay, okay, so one second. Okay, and let's go how our tech gather requirement. Okay, so before designing anything, our tech asks questions. Okay, a surprising fact is that the architecture spend more time asking the question than building the solutions. Okay, because the bad requirement always produce a bad architect. Okay,
Yes.
so suppose a customer says we need Azure. Okay, and the question will be what does it means? So it means nothing. It is not a requirement. It is a statement. Okay, and if the customer says we need applications, okay, so that's not enough informations. Okay, because as architecture we have to ask who will use it, how many users, expected
How
growth,
many is it? Yeah.
budget and security requirement, compliance requirement,
Mm,
recovery requirement, performance
mm.
expectations, and global user or local user.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so what is the functional versus non-functional requirement? Okay, like
Uh-huh.
one of the most important architecture concept is understanding requirement types, fundamental and non-fundamental requirement. So what's come under the fundamental requirements? Okay, so it will be your user login, upload documents, generate reports, or store employee records. And what will be under the functional requirements? So it should be availability, security, performance, compliance,
See,
and
that's yeah. Yeah.
scalability.
That's for non. So that's non-fundamental.
Exactly.
So is it called in architectural environment? Is it called non-fundamental because in BA requirements it's called environment is called non-functional.
Mhm.
So is it fundamental that you call it, or is it or did you say non fundamental or functional?
Yeah, non-fundamental functional.
Oh, non-fundamental functional.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah,
is
okay.
that the way it's called in architecture world?
Yeah, exactly.
Or
So,
non-fundamental functional.
okay.
Wow.
So now, uh, what? So today, what we learn? How to attack the design identity, governance, monitoring solutions. So we design the entire architecture, we design the
Mm-hmm.
RBAC strategy, we show the management group hierarchies. We
Monitoring.
also look at the design governance using the Azure policy, and we design
Yeah.
monitoring architecture. Okay,
Monitoring. Yeah.
so these concepts from foundations of every Azure architect. Okay, so let me ask some question. Okay, a company with a three business unit, 10 subscriptions, and 500 users, and security compliance requirement. So question will be, how many management group would be created?
How many management group will be created?
Mhm.
Um, 5.
Guess more.
Yes, 5.
Okay,
Okay. How many management group will be created for
it has three business units, so it means three management group.
resource? Wait, the
Mhm.
the the resource group. Am I the resource group? Um, Subscription.
Mhm.
Um, Tenant.
No, no. So
No.
how many management group would be created? For that, three. Okay, only three.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now
Okay.
let's check some knowledge. Okay,
Mm.
before we closed. So tell me, what does architecture begin with identity?
What is what?
What does architecture begin with identity? So it will be identity first. Like architecture begin with identity because access control is root of the security. And if you don't know
Yes.
who is accessing the resources, you can't enforce policy, protect your data, and
Absolutely.
ensure their compliance. So in Azure,
Yeah, and
so in Azure, identity, which is Microsoft Entra ID, is controlled,
yeah.
controlled plane for the authentication, authorization, and governance. Okay,
And if it's compromised, every security control behind it becomes useless. So
exactly,
you're saying.
exactly. And what is the difference between the authentication, authorization? So authentication
Um,
is who you are, like
You
every,
are, yeah.
verifying your identity, like example password, MFA certificate. And authorization is what you can
What
do,
do?
like
Yeah,
permissions or role assigned after the authentication.
yeah.
So think of like entering a building. Authentication is showing a badge at the door, and authorization is which rooms you are allowed to enter.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
so yeah, so these are our today class. So in our next session, just three, we move into one of the largest AZ-305 domain, and we will start designing the data storage solutions, and we'll cover and we'll see the storage account, uh, the blob storage, okay,
Mm.
and Azure files, data redundancy, okay, backup strategy, data lifecycle management, SQL databases, okay, and Cosmos DB, and selected the correct storage architecture for the business requirement. Okay, because the session three is where the real architect decisions making begins. Okay,
That's
so
fine.
see you tomorrow. Okay, in our,
Yeah.
yeah, see you tomorrow,
I'm
and
really,
like
I'm really
we will like
enjoying it.
yeah. So these are like our like today is also the very like high level things we are discussing,
Yeah. Mhm.
but
Yeah.
like further we moving toward the deeper into the courses, like we will learn and we will see a lot. Okay, like real decision making begins. Okay,
Yeah.
so thank you
So
for
I
joining
want to
the
have
course.
access
Okay,
to
tell
the
me.
first one, to the first training and this one. How do I do it?
Sorry.
I want to have access to this training and the one we had yesterday so that
Hmm.
I can go back to it. I need to be going back to it when I'm studying.
Okay, so for that, uh,
Okay, I'll ask
okay,
them for the link. Okay, that's fine.
okay,
Thank you so much. I
okay.
enjoyed it. I'll
Thank you.
get there. It's sinking in bit by bit. So yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Thank
Okay.
you.
See you. See you later. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Mhm.